Welcome, everyone. I am absolutely thrilled to guide you through this incredible explainer on Langsa. If you haven't heard of it, it's this spectacular, totally off the beaten path coastal city in Sumatra, Indonesia. Look, if you're hunting for a destination that literally has it all, stunning natural beauty, deep historical roots, and an authentic cultural experience, and zero overwhelming tourist crowds, you're in the exact right place. We're going to explore everything you need to know about this hidden gem. So let's kick things off with a little trivia. Where exactly can you find Southeast Asia's vastest mangroves, intertwined with, get this, a city of 1,000 coffee shops? Well, the answer is the very city we're diving into today, Langsa. It's this wild melting pot where you can literally spend your morning trekking through a dense rainforest, your afternoon walking through centuries of colonial history, and your evening sipping some of the best coffee on earth with the locals. Let's unpack exactly what makes it so special. All right, Section 1, the origins of Langsa. To really get Langsa and appreciate its modern vibe, we've got to start at its roots. Picture this. It's the 15th century, and Minangkabau settlers have just arrived to clear this dense, untamed wilderness. The local legend goes that as they're working the land, they look up and spot this massive, majestic eagle just soaring endlessly overhead. So they combine the word elong, meaning eagle, and sa, meaning one or soaring. And boom, the city was forever branded the Soaring Eagle. And honestly, you can totally still feel that sense of freedom and majesty when you look out over its massive coastal landscapes today. Moving right along to our next section, echoes of the colonial era. Let's see how this local settlement collided with foreign powers. So, looking at this timeline of Langsa's evolution, after the Minangkabau settlers, the Dutch eventually rolled in, eyeing the region's massive agricultural potential. But jump to 1877, and the locals were not having it. They fought back hard. There was this fierce anti-colonial resistance led by a local leader named Tengku Cik Bentara Blang. Now, the Dutch did eventually take control and turned Langsa into a huge export hub for rubber and spices, but that rebellious, independent spirit, it never really left. By the 1910s, the Dutch were rapidly laying down railways and heavy infrastructure. And you can see that collision of worlds today. This quote really hits the nail on the head regarding the fusion of local and foreign cultures. The absolute best example is the Bali Juang. It's this striking, white 1910s colonial building sitting right in the city center. It originally served as the administrative heart for those massive Dutch plantations, but today, it proudly serves as the Langsa Museum. When you walk through those high-ceilinged halls, looking at distinct European architecture tweaked for a tropical climate, it's literally like walking through a timeline of Aceh's struggle and cultural fusion. Okay, let's fast forward a bit. Section 3, Langsa's cultural urban heart. We're stepping out of the history books and onto the vibrant modern streets. The second you hit the city center, you cannot miss the Dar al-Falah Grand Mosque. It is an absolute architectural marvel. It acts as the visual and spiritual anchor of Langsa. Now, Aceh is famously known as the veranda of Mecca, and you can really see why here. The grand domes and intricate architectural details perfectly blend Middle Eastern design with local Achenese traditions. Visitors are totally welcome to respectfully check it out, and honestly, it just offers this incredibly peaceful, spiritual anchor right in the middle of a busy city. Just a stone's throw away is Bamboo Ranching Park. Now, this place is fascinating because of the physical contrast it represents. Bamboo ranching literally translates to sharpened bamboo. And yes, those were the actual weapons locals used to fight off colonial rule. Today, that fierce, bloody history is marked by a monument sitting right in the middle of a deeply serene, lush green gathering spot for locals. It's kind of wild to think about. Now it's just the perfect spot to grab a snack, sit in the shade of these towering trees, and just watch daily life unfold. But what if you want to escape the city limits? Let's dive into Section 4, Majestic Mangroves and Nature. This is where Langsa truly shines as a modern green city. 8,000. That staggering number is the size, in hectares, of the Kuala Langsa mangrove forest. To put that into perspective, it's massive. We aren't just talking about a cute little patch of trees here. This is officially recognized as the most complete and vast mangrove ecosystem in all of Southeast Asia. It acts as the literal lungs of the region, trapping insane amounts of carbon and providing a critical habitat for endless species of birds, crabs, and fish. It's an absolute must-visit for sure. And if you want the absolute best view of it all, you've got to climb the 45-meter-high steel observation tower built right into the middle of the forest. Climbing this spiral staircase, which I gotta say, looks a bit like the Eiffel Tower just sprouting out of the jungle, gives you this crazy panoramic view of the Malacca Street. You can spot all 32 different mangrove species down below, plus keep an eye out for local macaques swinging through the canopy. It's a photographer's dream. So, if you're putting together the ultimate nature itinerary, here's your game plan. Step 1. Start your morning hitting the elevated wooden boardwalks in the mangroves before the midday heat kicks in. Step 2. Take a short drive and do a guided eco-trek through the fringes of Gunung Leser National Park to spot some incredible exotic wildlife. And finally, Step 3. Wind down and watch the sunset on the famously uncrowded Langsa Beach. Honestly, it's the perfect mix of adventure and relaxation. All right, all that exploring is definitely going to make you hungry. Next up, coffee, cuisine, and nightlife. You literally cannot visit Sumatra without diving into the local flavors. Your taste buds are in for a serious treat here. Imagine digging into a steaming plate of authentic Achenese nasi goreng, just exploding with rich flavor and that fiery local sambal. If you're walking down the street, just follow the smoke to the street vendors grilling up perfectly charred, mouth-watering satay. For a sit-down spot, you've got to hit Restaurant Tamansari for buttery, fresh seafood and rich beef rindang. And, you're in Sumatra, so washing it all down with a cup of world-famous, locally grown Gayo coffee isn't just a suggestion, it's practically mandatory. And as the sun goes down, Langsa totally transforms. But forget Western-style clubbing. Nightlife here is all about community and, well, caffeine. Remember, it's known as the City of 1,000 Coffee Shops. You've basically got two choices. Kick back in a traditional warung kopi, sipping rich brews and chatting up the super friendly locals. Or if you want some real high energy, dive headfirst into the Pasar Malam, the bustling night market. It's this electric vibe full of sizzling street food grills, lively games, and handmade crafts. You really can't go wrong either way. Okay, let's talk logistics. Section 6, planning your Langsa escape. How do we actually make this incredible trip happen smoothly? First up, timing is everything. As you can see on this table, aiming for the dry season between May and September is going to give you the best, sunniest weather for all those outdoor eco-adventures. But hey, if you end up going during the wet season from November to March, don't sweat it. Yes, expect frequent rain, but it is the absolute perfect excuse to spend hours cafe hopping and exploring the museums. Now, for places to crash, Langsa caters to everyone. Backpacking? You can score super affordable, cozy stays right near the city access at places like Oyo or Red Doors. Or, if you're looking for some luxury and comfort, you can treat yourself to the plush rooms and swimming pools at the Royal Iti Hotel. Pro tip here, definitely use platforms like Agoda or Traveloka to book ahead of time, especially if you're traveling during the dry season or a local festival. Just a few rapid-fire essential tips for you. Currency. Cash is king, so keep Indonesian rupiah on you since card machines aren't everywhere. Dress code. You've got to dress modestly, covering shoulders and knees to honor the local Achenese customs, especially near religious sites. Getting around? Renting a scooter gives you ultimate freedom, but the local shared minivans, called angkots, are cheap and super authentic. And as for safety, it's incredibly safe and welcoming. Just use your standard travel common sense. So we have to ask, are you ready to escape the ordinary and discover the soaring eagle of Sumatra for yourself? Because Langsa isn't just a dot on a map. It's this deeply immersive story of wild nature, rich history, and the warmest culture. It's the kind of place where you can actually escape the typical tourist trail. So, when are you going to write your own chapter there? Thanks so much for hanging out with me on this explainer, and happy travels.